Now, good morning, students. Today we'll be starting with the topic that says cylinders and cones. Now, we first of all look into cylinder before we consider the cones. And one of the topics we have for the term. Now, under cylinders and cones, under cylinders, we first of all look into what we call the net. The surface area. We look at what we call the net of a cylinder. The net of a cylinder. Now, we told you that the net of a shape is a what? Is a two-dimensional representation of that shape, which is a three-dimensional shape. Now, like I said, this cylinder is a three-dimensional shape. Here you calculate what? Volumes. But when you try to represent the cylinder in two dimensions, like showing it as what? Ordinary plane shape. That's it. The net of the cylinder is a plane shape you get when you open up what? A cylinder. Now, look at this now. This is a typical cylinder. If you look at this now, you know we have some kinds of cylinder. We have the hollow cylinder. A hollow cylinder is a cylinder that is open at both ends. Now, this one is not open at both ends. This is what? A solid cylinder. Now, when you try to open up this cylinder, what and what are you going to get from the opening? Okay, let us see how we open a cylinder. We try to open our cylinder this way. You see the components that make up this cylinder. Now, we have this one. Now, opening up the cylinder, we have something like this. In opening up a cylinder, let us see the components of this cylinder. You see what we have? This cylinder is made up of these things. Look at it. Let's gum it well. A cylinder is made up of a rectangle
and two circles.
A rectangle here. Now we have a circle. Two circles and what? One rectangle. This is the net of a cylinder. The plane shape you get when you open up a cylinder. Now, the cylinder we open, this is a cylinder we open now. This is a cylinder, let's say a half open cylinder. There's no this thing cover here. This one is what? Closed. So this is just the core surface. This side, when you talk about surface area of a cylinder, when you talk about surface area of a cylinder, you notice that what? This side I'm touching now is the curved surface. And that curved surface is just this what? Rectangle. You see it now. The rectangle is a curved surface. This and this are the top and what? Bottom of what? The cylinder. When you talk about the curved surface, you refer to only this what? Rectangle, which is this side. The net of a cylinder has about
Actually, I don't know. Check outside. That's the last place I saw it.
Rectangle.
Check outside that hangar place. That's the last place.
The cylinder is made up of two circles and what? A rectangle. Now, as you are seeing it on the board there, now, with this, you're going to now look into the surface area of a cylinder. If you ask what and what makes up a cylinder, or what do you understand by the net of a cylinder? You say the net of a cylinder is the plane shape you get when you open up a cylinder. Now, If this is what, as we talk about a half-open cylinder, this will not be there. What we have is only this one and this one. If you talk about a cylinder that is open at both ends, what you're going to have is only this one. This and this will not be there. So these are the things you need to note about a cylinder. Now, we say that opening up a cylinder gives us what? A circle on top, a rectangle, and what? A circle at the bottom. Now, let us now look into the surface area. We start with the curved surface. The curved surface area. Curved surface area. This is what we call the CSA. When we talk about the CSA of a cylinder, we mean this rectangle. This is the curved surface. Looking at this cylinder, this is the curved surface. Now, also, we now try to get the area of this curved surface. You know that what? The height of this cylinder, look at it here. The height of this cylinder is the breadth of what? Of this rectangle. The height of the cylinder is the breadth of the what? Rectangle. So this is the height of the cylinder, which is what? The breadth of this. Now, if you go to the top part, when you do this thing this way, you are forming a circle. You are forming a circular part of what? The top. Now, this circular part you are forming is equal to the length of that what? Rectangle. And the circular part, the distance from a circle, is what we call the circumference. Which means that what? This length of this is equal to the circumference of the top. And we also say that what? The breadth is equal to the height.
Ah, Prince, yeah, mafia.
Now, when you look at this thing now, what do you say, or you say about the curved surface area? We notice that there, that when you talk about curved surface area, we talk about the area of what? Rectangle. Area of what? Rectangle. And what is the area of a rectangle? Length times what? Breadth. You see, the area of a rectangle is length times breadth. And now, if this is so, we see that what? The breadth is what? 2 pi r. The length is 2 pi r. And the breadth is the height. The length is 2 pi r. And the breadth is the height. So, we now say, since the surface area is equal to the area of the rectangle, we now see that what? The curved surface area of the cylinder is 2 pi r h. That's the area of the curved surface. Let's go to the total surface area. The total surface area.
Okay.
We call it the TSA. TSA. Now, when looking at this figure on the board, what we mean by total means all and all. This, and this. The surfaces, both the top, the side, top surface, and what? The other bottom of it. You know that what? A solid cylinder. A solid cylinder is a cylinder that is closed at what? Both ends. Now, this solid cylinder is made up of what? A circle, rectangle, which you call the CSA, and the what? The circle. And when you let us write at this side, what we mean by their areas, area of this one is given as pi r square. This one is given as 2 pi r h. And this one is given as pi r square. The total of this thing now is this plus this plus this. The same TSA equal to 2 circles. This plus this is what? 2 pi r square plus this one, which is 2 pi r h. They have common radius, and there's other things that are common. You can factor them out. You see, 2 pi r, 1 r will remain, 2 pi r h will remain, which is 2 pi r will remain plus h. So if you don't write this formula, you write this formula. They are same. Now this is what the TSA of what? A solid cylinder. The TSA of a solid cylinder. Now, what of other ones? If it is that what? A cylinder is open at one end. Maybe it is open here, but closed here. What do we now have? We now have what? For half open, we call it half open or closed. The TSA will now be 1 pi r square plus 2 pi r h. Do you get it? We say that for half open, that is the one that is open at one end, either here or here. It is 2 pi r square, 2 pi r h plus pi r square. Or you can take it the other way around. If you want to factor it out, you can factor to give you pi, to give something like pi r bracket r plus 2h. This is also for this one. Now, the other one is when it is what? A hollow cylinder. It is open at both ends. When it is a hollow cylinder, the TSA is equal to CSA. That is it. When the cylinder is open at both ends, the TSA is same thing as the core surface area. So that is it concerning the total surface area. What you have explained now gives us what the general overview on how to tackle problems concerning that. So let us now quickly go to solving of problems. I will solve 2 problems, you solve 2. All of them have the same process of solution. Solution of problem. Now, I will start with the first one. They have given us the pi. They approximated it for us to degree. Now, they gave us a diameter equal to 58 cm and the height equal to 10 cm. That's what? Diameter is what? D is 2 greater. If you want to have your diameter as this, or maybe you want to use your radius by dividing this thing by 2 is left for you, or if you want to keep it, you are free to do so. And recall that what the CSA by formula is equal to 2 pi r. Noting this formula, if you want to use it, instead that 2 pi r h can also mean 2 r pi h. And now, if you want to replace this one with your what? D to be pi d h, you are free. If you still want to use your r, you are going to divide this thing by 2. So these are the two processes you can also take. Now, we solve the methods using any of them. Now, since CSA is what? 2 pi r h, which is same thing as, or you can write it under, pi d h. Remember that this d is what? 2r. Remember that it has taken over this what? This one and this one. It has taken over. So we now have that this is 3 times 58 cm times height 10 cm. So we now work towards getting this. 58 times 3 is what? Same thing as saying 150 plus 24, which is 174, times 10, 1740 cm squared. Remember, this formula can be written as 2 pi r equal to pi times 2r times h. Since it is multiplication, it is commutative in the sense that if you say 2 times 3, it's something as 3 times 2. So that was me, that's commutativity. Okay, you can replace this r with your what? Diameter. That's what we have here. To give us what? Pi dh. Knowing fully well that d is what? 2r. That was what we did. And now, we now carry the whole of d and replace here. It now give us what? 58 times 3 times what? 10. When you multiply it, you are going to get 1740 cm squared. And the cm squared came from cm times cm. You have cm squared. Solve number 2 question that says diameter is 18 meters, 18 centimeter, and the height is 14 centimeter. What will be your answer? Good, I have gotten one answer already. Thank you. In the third one, we have gotten the second answer, 7 cm squared. Now, for the third question, we are given that radius is equal to 5 cm and height is equal to 7 cm. So our formula still holds. CSA equal to 2 pi r h. And this gives us 2 times 3 times 5 times 7. Cm here times cm here, cm squared. So, this is what 10 times 21, 210 cm squared. That's the answer to the second question. The third question, sorry.
Wait, I just had to. Oh my God, drink my food. I just have to. Wait, that's it for going out. Hello, friends. Back. Okay. Yes. Oh, oh yeah, yeah. Yes, so. Mm, I know.
For the first one, we have this shape. Diameter is giving us 14 cm, and the height is giving us 10 cm. And the same should take 5 to 3.
Wait, sorry.
So the TSA
Oh, I forgot.
is
That one.
2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. When we consider this thing to be a solid cylinder, which we factor that to be this. Now, how to notate this? We have 2 times, or the one that is setting as pi, is setting as diameter. So we have what? 3 times 2r is 14 times r is what? 14 divided by 2, which is 7, plus h, 10 in centimeter squared. 3 times 14 is what? 42 times 17 cm squared. Good. 42 times 17 cm squared will give us,
that will be
714.
714.
So this is the first answer, the total surface area of the first shape. Now let's go to the second shape, where we have this. We are giving, for this one, we are giving r to be 5 cm and the height is 6 cm. Pi is empty as 3, as we are told. So we have that the TSA is, using our first formula, 2 pi r bracket r plus h for a closed cylinder. This is 2 times 3 times what? 5 bracket 5 plus 6 is cm squared. So 6, 2 times 3 is 6 times 5 is 30 times 11 cm squared to give us 330 what? Cm squared. So this is the answer to the last one. Now,
Okay, I
we
can see
also
the board
have,
again. I got you.
okay, thank you. Good. Now, we also have what we call volume.
Okay, I can see the board.
You can see the board well.
Yes,
So,
it's just point.
check the two solutions there on the board. Now, look at this question again. A closed tin is in the shape of a cylinder of diameter 10 cm and height 15 cm. Use the value 3.14 for pi to find the total surface area of the tin and also the value of the tin to the nearest 10 naira if tin plate costs 4,500 naira a meter square. We say that diameter is 10 cm, radius is 5 cm, height is 15 cm. Now, the total surface area, A part, TSA, is given as 2 pi r bracket r plus h, since it is a closed cylinder. It's a thing, closed. Yes, any question? Okay. I remember I told you that this thing can be pi d r plus h. If you are given diameter, you can work with your diameter. So what this is given as what? 3.14 from the equation. Diameter is 10. R is what? 5 plus 15. Cm times cm, which is what? Cm squared. So this is 31.4 times 20 cm squared. What do you now have? 314 times 2 cm squared to give us what? 826 cm squared, approximately 630 cm squared. This and this serves as a TSA. If you are using approximate value, you have this. If you are not using approximate value, you have this one. Okay. That's our TSA for that what? Closed cylinder. Now we are going to now look at the second aspect of the question. Be fast with that. In the second aspect of this, if you are working with 630 as our TSA, the question asked us to put it in what? Meter squared and find the what? Cost of it in that. Okay, what do we do when you have such problem to tackle? You know that what? 1 meter is equal to 100 cm. I hope you know. And now, which means that 1 cm is equal to what? 1 over 100 meters. Which means also that when you want to square this thing, 1 cm squared is something as what? 1 over 100 meter all squared. Which will give us 1 over 10,000 meters squared. Do you get it? So, if you are converting this thing to cm squared, what you're now going to see here is that 630 cm squared will now be 630 times 1 over 100, 10,000 watts cm squared. 630 times 1 over 10,000 cm squared. So that is it. What do we now have? 63 over, this 10 will go here, over 1,000 meter squared. This is the TSA in meter squared. This is the TSA in meter squared now. That is TSA in meter squared. Having noted this now, they say you should find the cost of that plate if it is 4,500 per meter squared, which means that you are going to multiply this thing by 4,500. Now, let's go to this side. If we now come to this point now, we now see that cost per meter squared is 4,500 naira, which means that what? 63 over 1,000 meters squared will give us what? 63 over 1,000 times 4,500. All of them in naira. So this goes with this. This two goes with this two. What we have will be 63 times 45 all over 10. And let us multiply and see the cost of that plate in meter square. Let's see the cost of that in naira. If one is what? 1 meter squared of it costs 4,500. So 63 times what? 45 will give us 2,835 over 10. Now, when you work more on it, we're going to get 283.5 in naira. This is the answer, but we have not yet arrived. They say we should present this answer to the nearest of 10 naira, which means that what? To the nearest 10, we have that what? 283.5, 50 kobo will now give us what? 280. This is the 10th place value. So since what? This is not up to 5, take it as 0. So that is it. So this is the cost of what? Of that tin plate. If 1 meter cube of it, a meter squared of it, costs 4,500 naira.
I don't see anything. Okay, class. Put it on.
Find the total surface area of the shades below. Use 20 over 7 as your pi.
It's black. How do you know it's black? See black here.
We thank you for being part of today's class. Thank you so much. We are going to meet again next time as we normally do. Thank you. We'd like to get your answers very, very soon.